Hello and welcome to this very brief introduction to planning creativity, participatory heritage and decision making, one of two projects within the landscape decisions framework, which looks at how the large infrastructure sites of late 20th century carbon culture are going to be transformed into 21st century heritage facilities. My name's Ben Anderson. I'm the primary investigator and an environmental historian of the 19th and 20th centuries. The project team is made up of a group of scholars loosely connected through the Rural Modernism Network. That's Katrina Navakas at Hertfordshire, Professor Matthew Kelly at Northumbria, and Ian Waits at University of Lincoln, all of whom share an academic interest in the rural modernity of the late 20th century. But we're also joined by the geohumanities expert, Kerry Morgan, and by a digital team at Keele, which are helping to produce our 3D model of Chatterley Whitfield, which I'll discuss a little bit later. And we're also working in close alliance and partnership with a series of community organisations, probably most importantly for this project, Chatterley Whitfield Friends, who are also our formal project partner and who are taking an active role in the development of many of the key outputs. But we're also working with Friends of the New Forest and Gainsborough Heritage Association, who are connected to the other two sites on our earlier project, Decommissioning the 20th Century. Now, Decommissioning the 20th Century was our initial project, and it intended to find a more holistic and engaged way through which large-scale industrial facilities are decommissioned and become large heritage sites. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. If you want more information on that project, do see the presentation by Katrina Navakas. Our aims and objectives for planning creativity, though, emerged out of decommissioning the 20th century, and particularly as we saw new opportunities and challenges as we conducted our initial work. We saw a need to organise and present information from arts and humanities research in ways that reach other key decision makers in planning processes, such as mathematical modellers, local authorities, or decommissioning professionals, and to do so without losing sight of the inherent granularity, contestation, and complexity in arts and humanities derived data sources. We saw a need to reach new communities, both locally, reaching beyond site enthusiasts so as to build a long-term community investment in these sites, and nationally to expand our reach between our 3 case study workshops to incorporate things like oil refineries and other sites involved in 20th century carbon economies. Of the sites we were looking at on decommissioning the 20th century, one is too dangerous to be accessed on a regular basis, Chatterley Whitfield, one is currently a working power plant, West Burton, and another is almost fully demolished, Forley. So how then do we engage communities and sites that are often seen and have become an important part of the local landscape, but can rarely actually be accessed? We wanted to think about the potential of co-creativity as an engagement practice as well as a research tool. How can we use co-creativity to bring more people into contact with these sites and introduce them to their rich histories? And finally, we saw a need amongst ourselves to understand and share knowledge with a wider pool of planning experts to reach beyond the already multidisciplinary fields within which we were working. What then are we going to do? Well, we're going to use interactive virtual 3D modelling and crowdsourced heritage as a proof of concept tool to enable symbiosis of co-produced participatory planning with data-driven models, translating data born of participatory and co-creative techniques into forms legible to mathematical modelling and planning professionals whilst retaining its inherent complexity and contradictions. We're going to produce, we've started producing a 3D model from photogrammetric drone analysis, a methodology which doesn't require physical site access. And then we're going to populate that model with user-submitted data, that's memories, images, documents, archives, films, organised at the level of structure and buildings. This will facilitate data analysis such as corpus linguistics, network, or heat map analysis, but we'll do so retaining the granularity and complexity of our evidence base. It also, by the way, allows for a digital experience of an otherwise inaccessible site, and for the moment at least, quite importantly, a socially distanced one. Alongside Chatterley Whitfield 3D, we're going to be building on the research at our workshops and from the data submitted to the 3D project to create a series of co-created public art projects. This includes light projections and sound displays to reanimate Chatterley Whitfield Colliery with co-created material. But it also includes artistic pamphlets based on our workshops at Forley and West Burton to provide a perhaps cheaper and more easily reproducible output in order to advertise and disseminate the material from this type of public engagement. Finally, we will aim to build a cross-community network, building on the original network of 3 communities connected to Chatterley Whitfield Colliery, West Burton Power Station and Forley Power Station. We'll do this by identifying and contacting other communities associated with sites at risk of decommissioning, such as oil refineries and fossil fuel-powered power stations. And we'll bring them together alongside decommissioning experts and other planning scholars to a large networking event held in Stoke, which was originally due to take place in June 2021, but of course has been postponed along with the rest of the project due to COVID-19. And we'll also, once lockdown is lifted, engage in a knowledge exchange within Historic England's industrial strategy team. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for listening. If you do have any questions, please direct them at me. And just follows on the next slide our image credits. Thank you very much.